did an Oklahoma candidate for governor buy President Trump's endorsement?
Well, that's what some are accusing Mike Massey's campaign of doing following Trump's endorsement last week. News 4's Spencer Humphrey was here with how Massey is responding to all of this. Spencer, what'd you find out?
Yeah, Kevin and Allie, Massey's campaign has paid one of President Trump's closest confidants nearly $70,000 in recent months, leading some people to conclude the campaign paid him for Trump's endorsement. But Massey says he's earned the endorsement fair and square.
In politics, money speaks loudly.
And in the race for Oklahoma governor, where one candidate's money is flowing, has some people wondering if he essentially bought a very powerful endorsement. Last week, we told you President Trump surprised a lot of people by announcing he'd endorsed Mike Massey in the Republican primary for governor. Historically, Massey had been polling behind the next three leading candidates, the sitting AG, the former House Speaker, and the son of a former governor. He didn't have the same built-in name recognition, but he had on his staff someone political experts like former Assistant State Attorney General Tim Gilpin say may have just been an election-altering secret weapon. Political consultant Roger Stone.
Depending on which circles you run in, Roger Stone is either an esteemed character or an infamous character. His start began under Richard Nixon, former President Nixon, when he was young, and he was a ruthless politico.
More recently, Stone's been a close ally of President Trump, instrumental in his rise to politics and eventual victory in 2016. Trump even pardoned Stone after being convicted of lying to Congress.
I think it's pretty clear that Roger Stone is in President Trump's circle and is a useful consultant or tool in his toolbox to use for political matters and for those around him and those politicians who want Trump's favor or want the same type of campaign.
Financial records show Massey's campaign has paid Stone's Florida-based political consulting firm at least $67,500 in monthly payments since last year. Critics online likening it to pay-for-play politics.
Some people have said that this is essentially Mike Massey's campaign trying to buy a Trump endorsement. Is that a fair assessment to make on this?
It certainly doesn't hurt that Mr. Massey hired the right consultants with good connections and paid them their fees.
Massey's not the only Oklahoma candidate paying Stone to have received Trump's endorsement. Recently, Trump endorsed Jackson Lahmeyer in the Republican primary for Oklahoma's 1st congressional district. Lahmeyer previously paid Stone to run his campaign for Senate in 2022. His 2026 campaign records aren't available yet, but Lahmeyer also frequently hosts events with Stone. Meanwhile, in response to a post on X celebrating Trump's endorsement of Massey, one user wrote, "Credit where credit is due. Roger Stone made good on the money emoji." Stone responded, 2 for 2 if you count Jackson Lahmeyer. Responding to another post about Massey's campaign paying him, Stone wrote, "Incredible that Trump endorsed him today. How coincidental. LOL." For his part, Massey denying money had anything to do with Trump's endorsement, telling us in a statement in part, "We earned Donald Trump's endorsement because our conservative policy goals are aligned with his." Roger Stone has been an advisor to the campaign almost since the beginning. He was one of many people encouraging President Trump to endorse me in this race. And Stone posted another message on X recently directly addressing the concerns, saying, in part, "No one buys a Trump endorsement, but providing and guiding campaign strategy along with other talented professionals, I did help Mike earn it. This is what I have done for a living for over 50 years.